most of his car ahead of Caleb Johnson. Johnson working to the inside, but again, that outside line gets such a good run on the exits in turn 2 and turn 4 that it's hard to make it work at the bottom unless you really drive it in and send it deep, and that's what Johnson tried to do. But again, Missler with that good run middle of the corner, even though Johnson's going to nose ahead on the exit, he'll get that run down the back straightaway with Missler, and he'll be able to draw even and then make the pass once again.
Absolutely. As we're working the final lap here, Missler's trying to get himself into the podium spot here for the heat race here, but that's a tight battle for the lead. James, bring him home.
Tucker Minter will win our first sprint race. Daniel Mosteller second, and at the line, Caleb Johnson was able to eke it out. No, he wasn't. Austin Missler by, of course, 1/1000th of a second. True to form here at Charlotte, Ryan. No shockers there, right?
Yeah, no shockers there. As we take a look at the results from sprint race number 1, Tucker Minter, the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Championship Series driver, leading the way here with Demos hot on his heels. And then we see that battle for third right there. Real tight battle there. And then as you look through the rest of your lineup here, you look at the back there, Charlie Hunter, Alexander White, both those guys involved in incidents having a tough go of it.
And I think that underscores the importance of just keeping your nose clean for everybody in the second sprint race that's about to come up, because White and company, Hunter and White, they had good cars. They were running top 5 in this, and then they get into it with one another. They don't get the yellow, and then they're buried in the back, and now they're going to have work in our feature later.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of work to do, but you know what? At least they have the knowledge that they have the speed, they have the competitiveness, and they're going to be able to go out there and put on the hunt.
As we look at the grid for our second sprint race, a name familiar to many in the iRacing community, Justin Yee will start on pole alongside Oliver Cordell. AJ Hyder, competitor in the College Series, and Jayden Hopp will roll off from 3rd and 4th on the grid. Matt Kemp and Jonathan Millis will start in 5th and 6th in this second sprint race.
Then we got Braden Hunsicker on the inside of row number 4, Elliot Kandra on the outside of row number 4, and the last car in line here, Gavin Rupchan, a popular streamer online. So lots of familiar names in here. You got the ARCA farmer on the pole, and you got another streamer on the back.
The ARCA farmer, Justin Yee. I did not think that was going to be a nickname that landed on this show. But Ryan, for those unfamiliar, care to explain?
Yes. Absolutely. So Justin Yee, he's popular on YouTube. He has an incredible YouTube channel where he coaches a lot of drivers, goes in depth on some of the latest happenings in the sim racing community. And Justin is a known fan of the ARCA car. Let's just put it that way. And I think he has a shirt that even says in the ARCA Menard series font that says ARCA Farmer. So really good content there. Cool to see him out here being competitive. Really
easy to fall in love with the cars in these series as we take a look at our MPI track analysis for the second sprint race. This a mile and a half, a little bit longer, 2.41 kilometers in length, 24 degrees of banking in the turns, 5 degrees of banking on the straightaways. It is free content with any iRacing subscription. The moment you log into the sim for the first time, you have access to Charlotte Motor Speedway. It opened in real life in 1960. This is a place that there are 2 things that stand out immediately to me. One, the radii of turns 1 and 2 is larger than it is over in 3 and 4. And 2, just about everybody's iRacing career on an oval starts here at Charlotte in the street stocks, and I feel like everybody, Ryan, has good memories of that in some way, shape, or form. You remember rookie street stocks once upon a time, don't you?
Oh, man, I remember rookie street stocks, and I remember putting a lot of hosted races in the street stocks here at Charlotte, but we're getting ready to start sprint race number 2 here. 10 drivers once again, well, 9 to start this feature, and we're going to have 15 laps like we did in sprint number 1, and this is going to set the outside row, so every position here picks you up 1 more row on the outside lane.
Again, 1 spot is worth 2 on the grid. That's why track position matters so much, even in these sprint races, because you're going to have less work. You're going to be able to make your life a little bit easier. You can focus more on just trying to get those last few spots and how you're going to beat somebody like a Tucker Minter or a Justin Yee. As the second sprint race gets ready to roll off. Pace car there in the middle of 3 and 4, about to go over that bump that we talked about earlier, the most pronounced bump on the racetrack here. The tunnel coming into turns 3 and 4 sits right underneath the track, right at about this point. That's why the bump is so significant there, and it's something that these drivers will have to tackle. As the pace car pulls off, Barty will unfurl the green flag, and we will get going with sprint race number 2 of the MPI Challenge. And Justin Yee gets us going here in Charlotte Cordell still hanging on the outside. Hyder with a good run behind that inside line initially, Ryan. There's some pretty good power here coming up through the gears.
Absolutely. Everybody doing a really good job staying formed up on the inside lane. Another guy that I have my eyeballs on here is Matt Kemp in that 13 car. He's a real-life racer. He races in the ARCA Menard series part-time, so he's one of those drivers who has a little bit of experience in this platform, so cool to see him out here competing and looking to go 3, maybe 4 wide on the bottom of the exit of 4.
They thought about 3 wide in the front. They are going 3 wide further back, and you've got half this field absolutely packed in like sardines going into turn 1. Oliver Cordell has managed to get away. Justin Yee getting tight under everybody in the middle of the corner, had to check up. And Jayden Hopp, I think, caught the fence and maybe, just maybe, made a little bit of contact with Braden Hunsicker.
Yeah, and Justin Yee stuck in the middle here, falling like a rock. He's gone from the front row all the way to the mid-pack as he gets into the 12, and the 12 hits the wall.
A.J. Hyder and Jonathan Mills make contact. They're back in the field. That will string this group out just a bit. Cordell clear by 0.3 of a second as Jayden Hopp working the bottom, trying to get around Hunsicker and take second outright.
And Jayden Hopp, they're one of those drivers that's actually currently competing in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing qualifying series races. I believe they were in split number 2, but always at the front. So a lot of experience within these races here. We saw Tucker Minter in heat race number 1. In race number 2, Jayden Hopp.
Here is DJ EJ himself, Justin Yee, rolling into turn 1, currently in the 5th spot, trying to figure out whether or not it might be better to get the momentum up high. I think he noticed that just off of his qualifying spot. He started on that inside lane. He's moved up to the high side, and look at him with the run out of turn 2.
Absolutely big run, lots of momentum. He opts to kind of stay in line, though. You heard him blip the throttle going down the backstretch there. Comes out to the middle lane, tries to keep the momentum, but honestly, I'm just kind of surprised by that. He had the run. He could have dove to the inside, especially with how short this race is, but maybe trying to play a little bit of a long game here. Who knows?
Well, let's sort of think about that a little bit, Ryan. If that's the case, and you have the driver brain, you've done this a little bit, you've raced the vehicles in the ARCA Menard series. If you're not taking a run like that, why would you choose not to?
The biggest thing that I could think of right now is, and I'm going to harken back to a little bit of my experience on the sim, racing in the Sunoco All-Star race last year, prior to the Coke race at Texas, and we see some contact with the turn 4 wall. I believe that was Justin Yee once again. But these cars, they love that momentum, as we talked about. Being on that outside lane, he probably didn't want to put himself in that vulnerable position of being on that inside as we see some battles for the lead. That's the 10 of Hunsicker trying to make a challenge, and Matt Kemp's going to make it 3 wide in the middle.
3 wide for the race lead, and Matt Kemp just split the middle and drove right past all of them to clear Cordell and Hunsicker. But Cordell with that great run on the outside, going to take the lead back at the start-finish line, and the gap as they cross start and finish, how about 6/100ths of a second?
And what a move by Matt Kemp there. I mean, I know he didn't get the lead at the end of that, but man, he put himself right in position here. Now he's got to try and build that run, build that momentum so he can go and make the pass here. As we ride on board with Kemp, he's going to get a little bit of a push from Hunsicker, and he's going to just line wrap right here. Just ride in line and try and feel out Cordell and see what he can get.
Hunsicker, though, got tight on the exit of the corner. That allows Justin Yee to get past. I think Hunsicker had to let off the throttle, and that's 2 spots that he lost because Jayden Hopp was able to clear Hunsicker as well. So Cordell, Kemp, Yee now up to 3rd, Hopp to 4th, Hyder up to 5th. Hunsicker dropping like a rock here halfway through our sprint race.
And one thing I'm seeing is, as I'm also going to mention this, producer caught this, but look at that seat. That's a real nice seat that he's got there, nice and cozy. But as we watch this battle here, I noticed that a lot of these guys are really starting to fight that tightness in the center. They're really having to hammer the throttle, trying to blip out of it to unhook that locker and get this thing to rotate. You hear it right there. Matt Kemp gets a really good cut down to the bottom, whereas everyone else isn't rotating. That's going to be what helps Matt Kemp set up passes like this as he looks to the inside for the lead.
You know, Ryan, you know what I think would pair well with that seat that Matt Kemp has, since that seat's so realistic? You know what would work with that well? I bet an MPI steering wheel for his rig would work really well with that seat, too, as they bounce off the fence there. Coming out of turn 4, that was Cordell who got it. So Kemp and Yee now up to 1st and 2nd. Cordell, who has paced most of this race so far, all the way back to 4th, though on the outside, should have a good run out of the corner.
Well, and that's the I guess you could say the disadvantage of being the leader and playing defense all the time. We saw Cordell run the top, being really defensive, pushing as hard as he can as he pounds the wall once again. He's kind of stuck in the wall there, and he's going to continue to drop like a rock. I guarantee you that, oh, and he's got a wreck. The 20 of Kandra clears himself, and that's going to effectively take them both out of the running there as we stay green. Remember, no yellows in these sprint races.
You know who loves that? Jonathan Millis, who got caught up in the early incident over in turn 4. Now he's got some people to battle with. There's an opportunity to potentially gain some track position as Kemp, Yee, and Hopp, 1, 2, 3, Hunsicker fourth. A little bit of a gap back to AJ Hyder, and then you really start seeing these drivers go backwards. We'll go on board with Hunsicker.
And now as we see this race start to play out more, I know it's a short race, only 15 laps, but you see the common faces coming back up to the front. You have Justin Yee. He qualified up front, fell to the back, but he knows how to drive these cars. He knows these things like the back of his hand, and he's continuing to keep those tires underneath him. I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Yee picks up another spot or maybe even challenges for the win.
You know what I think is interesting about this sprint race in comparison to the last one? I feel like tire wear across the board was managed more evenly by the drivers in the first sprint race. This second sprint race, we've seen more comers and goers, and I wonder if these drivers will sort of file away some notes and maybe take note of the fact that you might not be able to burn off tires the way you think you could.
Absolutely, and Jayden Hopp getting all over the rear bumper of Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp is kind of just trying to run out of the rear view as we get a nice little drone shot right here, chasing down this group here. The top 4 under a blanket. It's going to be interesting to see what these guys do as we come to 2 to go.
Fabulous sport by our camera team at iRacing to show you in real time what the gap looks like, especially from Hunsicker's perspective. He's done a nice job to hang on to the gap. Here comes Hopp looking to the inside of Kemp for the race lead. He checks up on quarter entry and is going to try and paint that blue and white line down on the inside. He's going to run coming down the back straightaway, maybe try and get alongside Jayden Hopp, but as it stands, Kemp's still clear by about half a car length.
And that was beautifully executed by Matt Kemp there. He knew that he was getting a pass set up on him by the inside, so he just let him have it. He just let Jayden have the inside. He said, I know I'm going to have the exit, so you go ahead and take the entry, but I'm going to have the mow as we take the white flag.
How deep is Jayden Hopp going to send it into the corner? Deep enough to try and make the clear. He slides up the racetrack and pulls the slider on Kemp. So Hopp there, and that sends Kemp into the fence. Kemp got caught watching Hopp on corner exit, and that opens up an opportunity for Justin Yee to go to the bottom.
Justin Yee's going to dive to the inside. He's going to be a little bit sideways on the inside of Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp is going to try and pinch off for all he's got. But it's going to be Jayden Hopp coming off of turn number 4, getting the win in sprint number 2 in the MPI challenge.
Jayden Hopp, last lap pass, big time send to beat Matt Kemp and Justin Yee. And I think that's sort of the way you're going to have to get it done. If you're going to make a pass like that, you just have to commit and then slide up the racetrack and plant your rear bumper in front of somebody else. That's exactly what Jayden Hopp did. That's why Jayden Hopp will be starting on the front row for our feature.
Absolutely. As we take a look at your finishing results here, Oliver Cordell, what else can we say? He was up front a lot of that race, but as the tires wore, he fell further back in the pack, got collected in an incident that he had no business being in, and poor Gavin Robchan, I don't know what happened to him. 11 laps down, he's going to be taking this main event from the trunk here, James.
Bit of work to do, to say the least. So we've got a moment before we get going with our features, so let's remind everybody of how we got our 20 drivers and what is on the line in this feature race. We found out our field through a time attack that was open to all iRacing members from February 5th to the 19th. The top 20 eligible drivers entered tonight's fields, and it was a tight gap between first and 20th in that time attack. 4/100ths of a second, the difference between first and 20th, and making it into tonight's MPI challenge.
Absolutely, and you see the prizes there. First place gets a custom MPI trophy, $200 MPI gift card, $100 worth of iRacing credits. Second, they get half of that. $100 MPI gift card, $50 iRacing credits, an MPI shirt and hat. Third place, half of that. $50 MPI gift card, $25 iRacing credits, and an MPI t-shirt for their time, and thank you for being here.
And guess what, Ryan? We've got one more prize.
Oh, I like that.
One more, right? So,
yeah.
Because in addition to all of the prizes that were just announced there and put on that screen, one driver who participated in the time of track was drawn that didn't qualify for the finale. So watching from home, but drawn to win an MPI and iRacing swag bag that includes iRacing and MPI t-shirts, hats, lanyards, all that fun sort of good stuff, and $20 in iRacing credits. And Ronan Walsh is the winner. So congratulations, Ronan, for participating in the MPI Challenge Time Attack and picking up the swag bag. And all the more incentive, I think, Ryan, even if you don't necessarily think you have the speed, even if you don't feel like you're going to make it to the top 20, what does that say about just at least trying and putting your name in the hat? Because anything can happen, right?
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, going out there and just giving the effort, trying to make it into the field here as we're getting ready to take a look at the grid here, James. But seeing the drivers get rewarded like that, it's all the more special.
Very, very special indeed. So here's our grid for the feature race as we get set for 25 laps of racing. Your sprint race winners, Minter and Hopp on the front row, then Demos and Matt Kemp starting third and fourth. Third row will be Austin Missler and DJ EJ Justin Yee.
Absolutely. We're going to take a look at row number 4. Caleb Johnson to the insider. Braden Hudsicker to the outside of row number 4. Cameron Chandler, row 5. AJ Hyder on the outside of row number 5. Row number 6 going to have Ryan Arnold and Oliver Cordell. We talked about him, one of the fast drivers all in that race, coming in from the mid-pack.
13th on the grid will be Ethan O'Connor. To his outside in 14th, Jonathan Millis. James Bomar starts tonight from the 15th position. On the outside of row 8, it's Elliot Kandra. Charlie Hunter starts from the inside of row 9. 18th on the grid is Gavin Ropchen. And the final driver to start this 19-car field for the MPI Challenge feature is Alexander White, who got caught up in trouble in his sprint race and will have work in order to get to the front, but it is not impossible. So we've made it to the feature, the big show of the night. We also have cautions for this as well if things get a little bit wild, Ryan. So who knows what can happen.
Yeah, if I'm one of those drivers who had a bad race in the sprint, I'm at least going to sit here and be thankful that there are yellows in this main event, because if I'm starting at the back, I'm not going to lie to you, James. I'm probably going to shoot it through the field and be a little bit more daring with my moves.
How much are you going to push the issue if you're starting back there? How much do you want the track position early, or how much do you trust the drivers ahead of you to burn their tires up early and open up opportunities for you late?
Well, there's a lot of fast drivers coming from the back there, right? You have Gavin Ropchen, Alexander White. Those guys, they showed a lot of speed, a lot of promise in those sprints. So if I'm those guys, honestly, I'm just going to send it. I'm just going to go straight through the pack. I don't care what kind of moves I have to make. It's 25 laps, and there's no points, just bragging rights and a whole lot of cool prizes.
We're just going to go for it, basically, is what I'm hearing at the end of the day, which makes perfect sense to me. So, Tucker Minter, Jayden Hopp to lead the field to green. You see Minter trying to build up a little bit of heat in these tires. We've got the ARCA cars at Charlotte Motor Speedway for 25 laps and prizes from iRacing and Max Pappas Innovations on the line. I have a feeling some of these drivers might be looking at an MPI steering wheel to add to their rig if they can plan it in the top 3 places. As we get set to go, pace car is off, Barney awaits, green flag is out. We're underway with the feature race of the MPI Challenge, and immediately the outside to back in the jump. Jayden Hopp with a great jump there on that initial start to clear Tucker Minter before they even get to turn 1.
Holy smokes, Jayden Hopp caught Tucker Minter sleeping on the inside lane as they cleared for the top spot. But now, as you see right here, side by side all the way throughout the pack, is a lot of guys are getting out of shape.
A lot of people starting to figure out where they want to go, where they want to be 3 wide, a little bit further back there. That looks like Caleb Johnson sticking it to the inside to make a move, and does. Johnson now riding in the 6 spot, 4 wide there on the exit of the corner in turn 4. That doesn't work often. Tucker Minter, though, back to the inside of Hopp, trying to take the race lead.
And we're going to see Jayden Hopp here. They're going to put it in the middle lane, try and take a little bit of that air off of Minter. They're going to do a beautiful job of doing so. Minter's going to get tight on the inside, squeeze to the outside, but Jayden has a good run as there's... Oh, man, they're door banging off of turn number 4. Sorry, turn number 2.
Caleb Johnson went all the way to the apron. Contact, I believe, potentially Justin Yee, as there's trouble a little bit further back in this group. 2 cars in the fence and wrecking. It's Charlie Hunter and Elliot O'Connor who got caught up in proceedings. Elliot Kandra also with damage out of that, too. So 3 drivers already towards the back of this. Jayden Hopp, Matt Kent, Tucker Minter, though, the top 3. Kemp and Minter starting to fight for position, and Minter trapped on that inside.
Yeah, that top lane is going to be where the moves are made. That's going to be where you're going to carry all of that momentum off the corners, and you're going to be able to put that inside car in that vulnerable spot. If we see Tucker Minter drop all the way to 4th, a little bit of an uncharacteristic start for the experienced driver.
Tucker Minter riding in line here. Top 4 all single file, as is Justin Yee. You have to go back to 6th and 7th to find the first battle on the racetrack. Caleb Johnson to the inside, Braden Huntsicker to the outside. Huntsicker again with that great run off of turn 2. Time and time again, you see it in Charlotte. If you can get a good run coming down the backstretch, you can clear somebody with ease.
Absolutely. And you're going to have Tucker Minter here as he rolls that middle lane, trying to catch a little bit of momentum on Demos. Not going to get it, but we're going to take a look at the replay here on the bottom of your screen. You got the 15 of O'Connor right there in the middle. Just gets duded, just gets hit from behind. Nowhere for those cars on the inside to go, and just, it looks like Rope Chan's just an innocent bystander in the middle of that. Nowhere to go. Tough situation.
You know, Ryan, I've heard of many descriptions. I've heard many words used to describe somebody getting wrecked, but duded is a new one. So
we're out here inventing new phrases here, James.
I guess. Is that something you learned in California and just decided to bring your masters?
You know, you have the bump and rum and the doot and scoot, as we see a lot of duding going on throughout the field here. A lot of guys leaning on each other, a lot of guys shoving each other out of the way, and that's what the beauty of this ARCA car is. You're really able to get your elbows out as we see some real tight racing for the third position.
Really, really tight stuff there.
My bad.
As these drivers will figure out whether or not they're going to bump and run or doot and scoot or
they're not to the level that it happened.
All respect and love to Brooks and Dunn here at Charlotte. How about 3 wide though for the racing? No contact at the front, and Jayden Hopp is going to get turned, and there's one car on its lid. It's the 14 machine of Caleb Johnson as we get the yellow out. Big accident right after the start-finish line on the front stretch that caught a whole host of competitors and contenders involved.
Tucker Minter made an aggressive move to the outside through the quad oval there, and that is such a vulnerable spot to do it. I understand it. He had the momentum. He had the run, but Jayden Hopp just had no idea that he was there and just came right up the track and sparked this huge incident. It's a tough spot to be in, James. I don't envy either of them.
How much do you have to go for every position in a race this short? How much does it matter? And how many other drivers were caught up in this? We know about Hopp. We know about Minter. And then you had a fair amount of drivers that ended up involved in this after the fact. Johnson was the most dramatic of examples here. Ended up upside down entering turn 1. I think he caught the rear deck lid of Hopp and just sort of ramped over it. Ryan Arnold also was sent spinning in this incident. Also was the 16 of Jonathan Millis. He caught some damage, I think just transitioning off of the banking as well. So lots of drivers here who are going to have to get their cars cleaned up in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. That was a huge incident going down the front stretch. It caught me by surprise. It's very rare that you see, I guess you could say, a disagreement in position like that, especially when you're up in the lead. So real tight racing there, but we saw it. There were several close calls, especially coming off of turn number 2.
Let's take a look at this again and see how this unfolded. And Ryan, you called it right. You see Tucker Minter, 7 car there trying to make a move to the outside of Jayden Hopp, and then it all breaks loose.
And Jayden was so focused on the car on their inside, as you see the, oh my goodness, the 14 goes up and over on their lid. Oh man, what a wild ride. You don't normally see incidents like that here. As we're going to go right on board here. You see all the chaos unfold. Jayden Hopp gets clear and just, oh man, clips the right rear of the 14 there, and kind of does a little bit of a classic weight shift incident there. So wild stuff here early in this 25-lap race.
Just absolutely launched poor Caleb Johnson right up into the air entering turn 1. And so now all those drivers are going to have to come down and get their cars serviced and fixed up. And the leaders will have the track position and maybe a bit of a breather as well. We'll see how long these drivers are stuck on pit road, how much they have to do to fix the damage on their cars. The weather conditions have changed a little bit. The big thing I noticed, Ryan, look at that track temp. We're up 10 degrees Fahrenheit from where we were when we started proceedings, and the in-sim time has only jumped up to about an hour.
Yeah. And one thing that we're getting word of here, and it's really important for the viewers at home to know, is there are no tire changes in this race. There's only one set of tires, so everybody who's coming in getting their damage repaired, you may think, oh, why did these guys stay out? It's a free yellow. Come down and get your tires. Only one set. So the set of tires that you started this race on is the set you're going to finish on.
So if you're coming down pit road, you're coming down pit road to fix the damage. And the problem for Tucker Minter is that Tucker has a lot of it, a completely gone front end. on his car. The question will be how much damage is required, how much is cosmetic, how much can you get away with, and how much are the rest of the cars in this field going to be hurt, especially now that the lights are off on the pace vehicle. So that's about as much damage as you're going to be able to fix up.
Well, and we talked about, Jayden and Tucker a lot in the races leading up to this, but this is definitely falling into the laps of the next three best drivers. You have Matt Kemp, Demos, and Justin Yee all about the front here.
If you want more information on how to start your iRacing career, you can log on to iRacing.com today to find out more information about how to get involved with what an impressive online motorsports simulation. We'll get set to rock and roll from Charlotte Motor Speedway. 10 laps in, 15 to go. So not a lot of time to get moving. I think the interesting thing here looking at this is that everybody from Ryan Arnold on up, and especially Arnold, Missler, and Bomar, they all got damage, but their cars look relatively clean, and it looked like they were able to get most of the cosmetic stuff fixed up on pit road. So I think once you get to Hopp, that's about when I think you're going to see some speed follow. But realistically, I think there are 12 cars that could potentially have a shot to win this.
Yeah, we talk about those three up at the front, but really anybody in this race, if they time their run correctly, they could have a chance to fight for the win.
Kemp and Mosteller, your front row as we get back to racing on lap 11 of 25. Green flag is out once again. Inside line just took off. Matt Kemp with an incredible restart to clear everybody by a car length and then some. As Kemp will go to the front, Mosteller goes down to the inside. Justin Yee going to try and get a run on Braden Hunsicker, but Hunsicker's going to have that outside line, that preferred lane, exiting turn 2.
Yeah, Hunsicker is in the prime spot right there to maintain that third position. Justin Yee, he thought he had a chance to get clear, but as long as Hunsicker had his left front on the right rear quarter panel of Justin Yee, he was just a sitting bystander there. And look at, you see right here, all the momentum lost, just dropping like a rocket. The 5 car of Chandler bounces off the wall, loses a couple spots.
And Cameron Chandler dropping to the 11th position, just about at the tail end of this lead pack. Matt Kemp ripping the bottom, everybody else behind, trying to figure out whether or not they want to be in the middle, whether or not they want to go up top. Lots of cars weaving around. On board now with Charlie Hunter, currently scored in the 8th position, pretty much dead center of this. And you can see not only the lanes that these drivers are running, but I think some of the thought processes as well.
Whoa. Oh man, as the 8 gets hip checked right there. That's Justin Bomar just getting absolutely shoved out of the way right there. Falls. We talk about momentum's almost like the bingo free space word of this broadcast, but oh man, as they check up on the further back there, squeeze 3 wide. Bomar just getting flung around like a ping pong ball, but nonetheless settles in further back in the pack, I believe in the 10th position.
So Matt Kemp still in control. Daniel Mosteller to second. Get a look a little bit further back here. This is Braden Hunsicker and AJ Hyder, the leaders now. All single file, at least for the moment. First side-by-side battle, Justin Yee and Charlie Hunter, who were just on board with a moment ago, as Yee has not found a lot of success on these starts and restarts on the inside, but once he gets a moment to go up to the high line, Justin Yee really starts to pick up speed. You start seeing him make his way towards the front.
Absolutely, and one driver I'm taking to keep my eye on right now is Oliver Cordell in the 1 car right there, trying to work the bottom lane as we ride back on board with Justin Yee. I love going on board with these drivers